80 minutes stand between one of these sides and the big dance. 80 minutes and an opposition boasting a dazzling, daunting squad list, thick with talent and bristling with intent. Whatever happens today, it is not going to be easy. Well, there's no guessing, no prizes for guessing where we are this afternoon. StoneX is resplendent in Saracens colours, and let's take a look at the team Alex Osterbury has picked. A Wolf pack fit for a semi-final, all 15 internationals and all 15 seasoned campaigners. The front row is mobile and bang in form, whilst the back row is borderline unplayable. All three have been nominated for World Player of the Year since 2021. Zoe Harrison has been winning premierships with 10 on her back since 2018, and she'd quite like to show John Mitchell why she might just win a World Cup in that same jersey next autumn. You are reading that correctly. Hannah Bosman starts at tight head for Bears today. No Byrne, Clark or Pearce, so the Red Rose scooches over as Simi Pam makes it 3 straight playoff starts for Bristol. Abby Ward will co-captain from the engine room, sharing that armband with fly half Amber Reid. Holly Aitchison, back at her alma mater, will pop up plenty at first receiver though, and was signed for occasions just like these. If she can catalyse that infamously effervescent backline, we are in for a treat. So, who will be first to punch their ticket to the biggest game of the women's club calendar as Wolves host Bears? Fangs gleaming and claws sharpened in North London. People only remember the winners, Dave Ward reflected this week, and this Bears outfit are determined to leave a lasting impression in 2024. He pledged to win the Premiership in his 3rd season in charge. Year 1 was laying foundations, Year 2 was furthering that, and this year has been a case of finessing by all accounts. And now it is time to deliver. Their recruitment has been eye-catching, not least the pair of Saracens who headed along the M4 over the summer. And this is now a squad whose artillery more than matches their ambition. They want a taste of the big time. They've lost semi-finals at Sandy Park and in Gloucester, Dave Ward says. They don't plan on losing at Saracens. And speaking of a side who know these rarefied airs so well, they've reached all but one final last year's and are desperate to return to the game's summit. A special day for Sarah McKenna, for Donna Rose and for Poppy Cleo. 150 and 150 appearances respectively in those famous black strips. 2023 hurts. They have been open about that. But if they say you shouldn't poke Bears, then we might be about to find out what happens if you bother a Wolf pack. They've beaten Bristol in 12 of their 13 meetings and won each of their home ties by an average of 17 points. So history is on their side, and the stands are groaning with Saracens supporters. Well over 1,000 tickets sold for today. They are leaning into this occasion, and well they should. Days like these are what it is all about. Alex Osterbury was quick to rubbish favourite tags and underdog statuses in the week, stressing that what excites these women, that woman in particular, is performing before their fans and quite simply getting the job done. Alex Thomas gets the whistle for this one, and Mike Hudson and Nikki O'Donnell the flags. Dan Jones is on hand with all the angles. The women in black in exactly that. Bears in predominantly white for this occasion. And a decent breeze whipping around an overcast but mild StoneX stadium. They've met twice this season, a Christmas cracker and a historic afternoon at Shaftesbury Park. But days like these feel different. The air is heavy with what's at stake, and the form book is pretty much only good as scrap paper once the rugby is knockout. All that matters is the next 80 minutes, and who can handle the occasion. For a spot in the 2024 Premiership Final, here we go. Spiralled from the boots of Harrison right down the throat of co-captain Abby Ward. Bevan getting the nod at scrum half on this occasion as swiftly do the breakdown, and Renita Marston-Mulhern swift to add to her formidable carry tally for the season. Top carrier and more than 200 metres through contact, more than anyone else in the league. She is a wrecking ball in a Bears jersey. So too is Bottoman, 3 on her back this afternoon. Unfamiliar territory, but as Tom Luke, Bears skills coach, reminded me a little bit earlier on, she has played for the Red Roses in that position, so she's not too unfamiliar with it. Well, And an auspicious start there for Alicia Butchers. That one's knocked on. Saracens will have the put in. It's time to warmly welcome along the 9-time Six Nations champion, World Cup winning and sales performance director, Katie Daly-McLean.
Hi, what a start, isn't it? I mean, what a great day when we arrived, like you say, Claire. The sun was shining. It's a bit overcast now, and we've just got a taste of how Bristol are going to play. You know, we've talked about whether they'll use this territory, whether they'll use the kicking game, but the ball's gone through the hands, hasn't really gone anywhere, and they've given Sarries a bit of cheap possession, really.
Well, our first look at a Bristol Bears scrum featuring an unfamiliar tight head. We'll see it set again. So just to remind you of the front rows, in fact, McKinley Hunt, May Campbell, Kelsey Clifford, a pair of red roses, and a Canadian for Saracens, Simi Pam Locke, Atkin Davies, and Hannah Bosserman for the visitors.
Sorry, guys, I do apologise.
Okay, time's off.
Marley Packer's got a necklace on, which is, as she said, always looking after her, but on this occasion it is delaying a Premiership semi-final, so that's taken to the wings. Take two.
Okay, better picture, please. Crunch! Bind! Set!
That battle there, Pam up against Clifford, a really tasty one. And first blood at scrum time to Bristol. Look at what it means to them. And apologies for any language you might have heard, any effusive and fruity language over our referee's microphone. These are hotly contested occasions, Katie.
There are going to be so many more moments like that through this game, aren't there? But, you know, not that I know anything about front rows, but moments like that are big on this. Somebody wants to get that first edge, that first blink, and as you see here, Potts gets a good nudge, doesn't she? Hannah gets underneath her. She pops out, but happy to give the penalty towards Bristol.
Well, Atkin Davies sends that straight into the hands of Sophie de Goody, who pirouettes and sets off one of the best players on the planet, charging down that 10-metre channel. Wills is down, clutching her knee. De Goody's made it up to 6 metres short. She is playing rugby from another planet right about now. Here is Clifford. Will's still down. Now this is another Canadian. Emma Taylor with the carry, the towering second row. Saracens with front foot ball off that fluffed Bears line out and looking dangerous. Vivas onto Cleo. Look how thick the white jersey defensive wall is. Bears just flocking to the breakdown, concede the penalty in the process. Hand goes out. Saracens are lethal from this distance. Amber-Reid puts her body on the line to repel May Campbell, but back we come for the advantage. And just like that, Saracens turning line-out defence into a series of bludgeons on the Bear try line.
I've just been asked to wait. Time's off. She may have knocked it on. 7 offside.
Well, we were talking pre-match, Katie, about how Sophie de Goody is playing outrageously good rugby right about now. With 3 minutes on the clock, she's already thrown a gauntlet down in that regard.
She really has, and it's what Sarries are going to need, isn't it? They're going to need all their forwards. Just really smart, isn't it? That little dummy, all their Bristol forwards go after the ball. She's a smart rugby player, but that's how physical she is, isn't it? Hands off Deborah Willis, who is not a small player either.
Wills is still on the pitch, receiving attention, but the ball is Saracens to play with, and so now Bears defending down an athlete out on the wing. And it's to the wing that Saracens head. De Goody, player of the match when these two met in the Christmas cracker here in December. Ball knocked on. So it's a scrum advantage for Saracens. They'll have the put in if they can't conjure something up here. Advantage won't last for long though, and it's a robust defensive set from Bears, driving black jerseys backwards. Georgia Evans, that pink bow thrashing as she thrusts the ball backwards. Campbell next to have a chug. Vivas assesses her options. She's got Clifford and she's got Packer, picks the captain. Burns is in there with the shot, makes her tackle, so too does Gallagher. And this is arduous. hard yards coming in from the three-time champions, but they're not making any gain with it. Mustn't forget that as storied as Bears' attack is, they do have the stingiest defence in the league and the best tackle percentage. They are good at these, and I'll tell you who's good at something else. It's Alicia Butchers being a limpet over the ball. Turnover, and Hannah Bosserman making her delight felt.
Great defensive set by Bristol. It is going to be crucial that when Saracens come in, they don't let them take any points. I thought Amber Reid put on some shots, Hannah Bosserman, but that girl, Alicia Butchers, was absolutely outstanding. Great time and great technique on the turnover, and just a really good release of pressure for Bristol.
End of the cut.
Just watch it here, you know. Poppy Cleal fighting, but that timing, if your support is going to give that much daylight to the defender, it is a really, really easy turnover. But she's so quick, so strong over the ball, they can't move it. Really, really good bit of defence there.
Butchers, who missed the bulk of last season with that ACL injury sustained at the World Cup, but looking back to her best now, and it was her who popped up to pop that onto Marston. There was nothing popping about that carry, though. That was just pure explosion. Ward tips it on to Butchers. Those fabled Bears' hands, and how good to see Wills back on her feet, trucking up the 5-metre channel. Bevan on to Bosserman. Oh, the hands are delightful. Finds Atkin Davies on an incisive line. Said pre-match they're going to have to go up the guts, Bears, if they want some change from this Saracens defence. That centre field's going to be so important, and Delaney Burns next to take matters into her hands. Bevan on to Reid, now Marston Mulhern. Will be saying her name an awful lot. Bevan juggles it and whips it onto Reid. When they click, they are irresistible, these women in white. Aitchison finds a Lovibond, the Rolls Royce of a fullback, Dave Ward once describes her as. She really does purr. This now is another Ward, Abby, carrying up and over the top of Taylor. And if you can hear the applause ringing out around the StoneX, it's because we're giving a minute's applause for a man whose final message was to not waste a moment. Rob Burrow, 8-time Super League champion, Leeds Rhino legend, beloved father, husband and friend, and someone who helped to raise over £15 million to fight motor neurone disease. Reflecting his shirt number, this 7th minute is for Rob.
Man on the mark then.
I haven't been able to get a mark at the moment. You were about right, I think, yeah.
Okay.
Well, we've seen such tributes up and down the country in the north of England. At Twickenham yesterday, we've got it again here at StoneX. Well, Katie, we've not looked to our left once. Territory has been all one-way traffic, but I wonder if that man there might be slightly more pleased than his counterpart.
100%. Having been down pitch side, that wind is strong, and Sarries definitely do have that wind at their back. So I think if you're Bristol, you'll be really pleased with how you've opened in this first 10 minutes of the game.
Well, neither side seem able to buy an accurate line out at the moment. Perhaps the breeze playing a part in that. Gregson juggling it, 13 on her back, and that ponytail whipping as it so often does. Up again onto the cusp of Bears 22. They've just been smothered territorially. Harrison thinks she spied a gap and swerving and arcing cleaves her way to 15 metres out. Bears turning the screw at the breakdown there. Look for a moment like they might have affected the turnover, but penalty goes the way of the Wolfpack.
Initial counter rocks in the side.
It's a lovely break from Zoe Harrison now. We were just talking before the game how Zoe is much more of a kind of kick and control and 10, and you would see that a lot more from Holly, but it was a really nice break. You know, she's identified here. Hannah Botman gets off the line really hard, buys the dummy, and she just glides through that Bristol defence. There you see Hannah Botman's gone there. She's left row Marston Mahern, that little dog leg we talk about, and really nice break there from Zoe.
Line out comes unstuck again, but it's Harrison who's swiftest to react and scampers inside and out again. Pile of black jerseys in over the top of that ball. The battle on the floor has been ferocious these opening 10 minutes. This time, the penalty goes the way of the visitors.
Evie Gallagher in that instance, really good turn. I mean, she is known throughout the league, isn't she, for her turnovers this year. Very, very confident, very strong when she gets over that ball. But something that I think if you're a Saracens coach will be frustrated. You know, you've had 2-3 entries now. Both have resulted in holding on penalties. And for me, just not getting their support there quick enough.
Top turnovers in the Six Nations for Evie Gallagher. Also 5th for carries, 2nd for defensive rucks hit. And one of the 400 club. One of the 10 players who played every minute of the Six Nations.
Yeah, thank you.
She's just 23. It's scary to think how good she'll get.
Really impressive stat, that, isn't it? Thinking of the level she would have played at international, you know, 400 minutes over 6-7 weeks is it's a lot of rugby at a high intensity.
Well, she's somewhere in the midst of those Bears shirts as they march Saracens back upfield on their home turf. The StoneX is a fortress. They've won 14 on the spin here now, the longest live streak in the competition. And the stands behind them will have enjoyed that. Apologies once more. Marley Packer really should have all her games played post-Watershed, but we can't quite manage that with floodlight bills.
Maybe we just need to have a quiet word in her ear as well.
How do you think that would go?
Okay.
I'm not doing it. I wasn't volunteering.
It's attached. There's a left step and the last scrub.
0-0 in this first of the 2 semi-finals we've got today. Just a reminder, we are headed to Queen's Home next as the reigning champions take on Susie Appleby's Chiefs in a rematch of last year's final.
Crouch!
Saracens were so sore not to be at the big dance. It's the first time we've ever had a final without them, and they are hell-bent on returning to the Sports Summit this afternoon. Poppy Cleal on to Veer Vass. Dummy runner there was McKenna, back wearing 12, bringing all of her experience to that jersey. And now Breach fixes the last defender, finds Corinne Grant. Tackle comes in and might just have denied her a score in the corner. Saracens think she scored it, but we will have to give it another look.
I think it's a try from being up here. I think that's definitely a try.
Try scored, and I'm happy with try scored. There's no further substance. Okay, Dan, I just want to check. We're happy with the grounding. On-field decision is try. Nikki has got the end grounding. Just want to check she hasn't lost it first. And if she has, what actions have caused that?
On-field decision was try, so we need clear evidence that that hasn't been grounded. I wonder if Grant might have lost control of that.
Grounded. It would have been a penalty only. Try scored, no further action needed.
Yeah, I agree. Try is good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's a try. What a tackle from Deborah Wills there to try and get separation. She's really unlucky, isn't she? Because she does target ball, but it's a very, very good finish by Corinne Grant. But great first phase attack from Saracens there. You know, they created the 2-on-1 for Jess Breach on the edge, put it away, and it's a really good wingers finish.
Well, in big games, you need your players to step up with big moments, and Zoe Harrison drilling the touchline conversion to ensure it's a full points haul. You mentioned Jess Breach. Let's enjoy her work here.
Just watch it. It's just good running lines, you know. They fix, they get corner, and it's great acceleration. But for me, Jess, ball in 2 hands, attacks that inside shoulder of Loverbond. She can't drift off to make the last man tackle and puts Corinne Grant away. So really well-worked training ground move.
Jess Breach, who won a title with Harlequins before coming to North London last season and switching to fullback. Alex Osprey has been so full of praise for the way that in doing so, her distribution game has come on along with her famous running game.
100%, and we just saw it there. I think everybody would think, because Jess hasn't got the most natural kicking game, but you know, that running game, half that battle as a fullback is around distribution, putting others into space, which when you've got the pace like Jess Breach, we're not usually seeing.
So, first blood to Saracens. Packer on the pivot manages to find Taylor. This now is Cleal, who's got a real point to prove after not receiving a Red Roses contract from John Mitchell and his coaching staff in the week. Her whole season has been proving a point, Alex Osterbury told me in the week. She's been pulling up trees in a Saracens jersey.
Not clearly exposed. Offside.
And they find themselves on the right side of the law there.
Marley. So that was just a penalty because it was diving in the act of scoring. On dead.
Look, I think as a fly half, she wants to put them in the corner. She's going to be aggressive. With that win, probably just got to get a bit more of a feel for the ground there. But I mean, it was pretty close from up here, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is.
That's marginal, isn't it? It looks just starting to come back just a little bit too late.
Well, that's why we love knockout rugby at the highest of levels. Things do get pretty marginal.
Really good picture this side. It's better platform that side as well.
A drop of white paint here, a foot and touch there.
Heads. Ooh.
We saw kicks off the uprights in yesterday's Gallagher Premiership final. Comes down to the slenderest of margins.
Then step back first, then, please. Crouch!
So, for the first time in some time, Bears have a chance to flex their attacking muscles. Bevan with the put-in.
Set!
You've got Bonner and Reid behind this pack. Aitchison's barking orders in the midfield, pointing out to the wing. But they need the ball if they want to play with it. And there's a right party taking place down on that 4G. Saracens relishing that one.
Yeah, a bit of a momentum swing we've just seen happen with Sarries after that try. They started to get on top of Bristol. Scrum penalty now, just started to feel their way into the game, and we're just seeing the Sarries, the dominance that pack has and what it can do.
Best scrum in the league, 96% they've been scrummaging at all season long. One apiece now in the penalty standings.
Yeah, just wait, isn't it? That secondary shove almost. You see it settle and then they go again, and Bristol can't do anything about that turnout and changing hips.
Accidentally offside scrum.
Can't say the same about their line out there.
Accidental scrum, Bristol ball. Yeah, good.
Still not seen a seconds action down in the other 22. Fascinating to see if Bears opt to kick it a little bit more, utilise the boot and try and find themselves some positioning that could be a little bit more advantageous.
I think looking at the flag, especially the ones in that bottom left-hand corner, that wind looks quite strong. So I think this will suit Bears, you know, but wins like this are big point games, and the pressure is on Sarries right now to build a score.
Set!
I don't think they're a side that mind pressure, Saracens.
Far side. Back to where we were in that first scrum. We need more height from both of you, please. Let's go again.
Well, watching on, Billy Vunipola and Nick Ezekwe. Brilliant to see that support from the men's side. Dave Ward saying in the week how well supported he feels by Pat Lamb, how they earnestly can discuss selections in the corridors of Bears High Performance Centre, and with Mark McCall watching on with a host of Saracens, great and good. A true one-club ethos, something you enjoy at Sale as well, of course.
Yeah, I think it's become more and more common. I think previously people just thought it was kind of a bit of lip service, but I think now what you find is because everybody is under one roof, they're really invested in the game as well, and it's just great to see the boys out enjoying a good game of rugby, isn't it?
Okay. No. Support your weight then, please.
And by Saracens' lofty standards, the doors to their trophy cabinet haven't moved as much as they would like them to have done recently, so all their eggs are in this basket.
Definitely.
Bears looking to exit through Bottoman, who had such a barnstorming Six Nations, making the team of the championship. Ward, a part of that Grand Slam winning side as well, and now Reid onto Gallagher with a slalom and a step, and Marley Packers straight over that one, but referee says no. Reid again across the face of Aitchison finds Murray, who played so brilliantly against Saracens the last time these two met. That win at Shaftesbury Park. First time Bears had ever come out on top in this head-to-head. Atkin Davies with Marston, Mulhern and Burns in over the ball to ensure that Aitchison can get it with a little bit of space before Vivas slams the door shut.
They are, ball was lifted.
Bevan. Narkin Davies, who marked her return from an ankle injury with a brace against Sale. This now reads. Ball tucks under one arm, going and then still going, and eventually hauled to turf. This more patient from Bears. Get the sense that they're just coming to the boil in this attack. At any moment, they might pull the trigger and look to do something delicious. Reed onto Pam. Another one who's returned from an ankle injury recently and found herself in such a purple patch. Two tries in the Allianz Cup semi-final win against Gloucester Hartbury. Marston Mulhern just dancing up and over the top of Georgia Evans.
Always there for the taking if you want it.
She'll spend her afternoon flattening Saracens if she possibly can. Wills fancies in on that action as well, and with a disdainful handoff sends Grant flying. Bevan on to Pam. Had Aitchison on her shoulder box instead to ride the contact, and now the Red Roses fly half gets their hands on it. Reeds to Murray. 14 phases and counting as Murray makes serious inroads before the ball just squirts from her clutches. 15 phases now. Surely the highest we've had all match long, but it amounts to nothing. The turnover from Sarah McKenna. All of that experience coming to the fore. And speaking of experience, we've got Hugo Monnier patrolling the sidelines for us. Hugo, what have you made of this first quarter?
I find it fascinating, Claire, actually. In terms of territory, it's something that Saracens are absolutely dominated. I've been furiously writing down notes here. It's taken Bristol 19 minutes, 47 seconds to have one phase of play in Saracens' half. And that last 15 phase ended up in them getting turned over. They've had some outstanding bits of defence. Alicia Butcher's, Evie Gallagher at the turnover. But you don't beat Saracens unless you get territory. So that's something that they've got to fix up.
Thank you very much, Hugo. Hope you're keeping cosy down there. Campbell on to De Goody, who's waiting on news of whether or not Jack Hanratty is going to take her to Paris for the Olympics at the end of July. Can't imagine it's too sweaty away. Surely she's on that team sheet, but she was coy about it in the week. Bears have turned that one over and then gifted it straight back.
Tough watching at times, isn't it? Especially if you are a Bristol fan, you know, we're seeing them go through phases, we're seeing them play beautiful rugby, and then one moment and Sarries are on top and they're back just outside their 22. I think if you're Dave Ward, you probably are relatively happy. 20 minutes, only 7-0 down. But it's going to be really important that they're going to stay with this style, not use their kicking game, that they've got to be more accurate, because Bristol have been here before against the Sarri side where errors cost them points, and that's what's going to be really, really important in knockout rugby. Can't give cheap mistakes, and then you certainly can't allow them to convert that into points.
Well, we were here in December for the Christmas cracker. They were playing in the same direction in the first half, and it was almost cookie cutter. Bears really struggling to turn entries into points. Although today it's a step further, they need an entry.
Bounty advantage.
Billbacks calling for it. Cleo obliging, but Bevan hurtling up in defence. We'll come back for the advantage. There's a fascinating little tussle going on between the two nines down there.
Yeah, there is. Both very, very feisty characters there. Hannah Botman penalty at the scrum. That scrum has definitely gone more Sarries at the moment. You know, they're getting a lot more of those decisions, and it's just making it hard for Bristol. Hard to get out. You talk about entries. For me, they need an exit. They need to get out. They need to have a bit of prolonged pressure out of their half. You know, 65% of Bristol's ball against the top four sides has been in their own half. That is a lot of playing without being anywhere near a try line, and especially when you've got the quality that Bristol have in that back line.
Harrison played it really safe with that touch finder there. It's found them almost out of their 22 again, but that carry from Cleel getting the work done, and another penalty. She'll stick this one 5 metres out, surely.
7, no clear release.
Bristol on the wrong side of the penalty count as well at the moment. Just becomes hard, doesn't it? Because the picture you're creating for the referee is one of negative behaviours, just as it's given Sarries a bit of energy and they're getting on top of Bristol at the moment.
Bristol, step off. Onto the line, please. Thank you. Okay, hands on.
Very much a momentum team, Saracens, but the hands of Alicia Butchers just snapping the latest instalment of that momentum. I'll have that, she says.
Eight down.
Now Bosserman looking to make amends for that scrum penalty in a one-on-one battle with Poppy Cleal and drawing another penalty. They're coming thick and fast in this one.
They are, and they're making it a really broken game, aren't they? Very difficult for any side to really capitalise on momentum. I think if you're Bristol, you're probably happier with that. You know, you want a bit of a stop-start game, especially when it's in your 22 and you're having to defend so much. For Sarries, again, another entry, no points taken. And I think flip this, and Bristol have got the win in, and they use it. You know, it becomes chances that they will have room to miss.
I hear that you both called each other. We don't need that today, okay? Thank you. Wait there. Just hold, just hold.
And of course, adding a tasty subplot to all of this is how well Holly Aitchison and Hannah Bosserman know all of the Saracens. Plenty of Red Roses familiarity as well. There's plenty of love to be lost and also no love to be lost.
Backwards.
Ward extending desperate fingertips and looking to tip it backwards, but instead only finding Poppy Cleal in the midfield. Here now is Gregson. She's got Grant for company. There's the switch. Referee has to make sure that he's not caught up. Bosserman putting in a clattering shot in the midfield there on an incisive line was Hunt. And now, getting up, going again. And Saracens flexing their storied credentials with the second try of the match. They have had to work oh so hard for it. But the scoreline's what matters in these ones, and it is 12 points to 0.
Yeah, you're very right there, Claire. Bristol are really making Sarries work for everything, and they're going to have to. But again, it comes from error line out. You know, Bristol had the chance to exit, but well moved by Saracens through the hands. And I think Sydney Gregson's been on great form this season. Karine Grant switches off the edge, gets a real positive collision, and then Sarries are all on the front foot. You know, the waves of runners keep coming. Great strength from McKinley Hunt there, isn't it? I think that tackle's been completed. She spins, she fights, gets over that line. Here again, it's just good decision making. It's a ball in two hands, making defenders make decisions, and that line change, you know, beats 3-4 defenders. I thought Sarries' pack have gone really well, but that also from that angle is soft, isn't it? Evie Gallagher, Mulhern Marsden will be disappointed with that, especially how well they've defended.
Well, they've been holding them at arm's length for much of this first half, but eventually the dams burst somewhat. It's Saracens 14, Bristol 0, and their head coach is with Hugo Monnier.
Yeah, absolutely, Claire. Thanks so much. I'm sat here with Dave Ward, the head coach of Bristol Bears. Dave, 27 minutes gone. What's your thoughts on the first half so far?
Well, it's been all Saracens, unfortunately for us. I think, yeah, we haven't got a foothold in the game. We haven't got any territory. And unfortunately, the referee, we've got the wrong side of the referee as well. So, yeah, I hope Deborah Will's all right off the back of that. But yeah, we just need to get a foothold in the game, and hopefully this scrum, where Zoe just kicked it from, will give us that opportunity.
You mentioned a couple of things there. Territory. You've only had one phase of Saracens half. How do you get the territory that you're looking for?
Yeah, I think we've got to hold on to the ball. We had that blueprint of 9 phases we put together. It just went astray on the right-hand side with a holding on penalty. But we've got the ability to break them down, but we have to hold on to the ball. We have to win the ball first. It's set piece to do that. So, look, it is tough, but look, we're still in this game. It's a long way to go, and I think, like I said, if we need to ideally get something before half-time to just give us that little bit of confidence.
A couple of things. You mentioned discipline. Is it the referee's interpretation of the game, or is it your inability to be able to react and adapt to the referee?
Good question, Hugo. Look, I'm not going to be led down that garden path. Alex is a good referee. We need to adapt to him rather than the other way around, and it's as simple as that. And look, he's been a brilliant ref for us all season, so we need to make sure we adapt to what he's seeing.
Okay, you mentioned territory. You've now got it. What would you like to see from this scrum? Beyond, don't say you're trying. try? Because we know you're looking for that.
No, look, I want to see is one, we want to win the hit and scrum. We know we need to do this against a good Saracens team. Then we need to put a play on, and if it doesn't quite break first phase, obviously, which we're looking to do, we need to hold on to the ball, go through the phases 1, 2, 3 times, force Saracens to be in defensive positions that they don't enjoy. We know that you know, Gloucester has shown that, Exeter has showed that as well. But it involves us going through 3 or 4 phases, something we've only done once in the game so far.
Okay, massive part of the game. Dave, thanks for your time. Claire, back to you.
Thank you, Hugo. Thank you, Dave. Plenty to ponder in that conversation, but hopefully Dave Ward will be thinking plenty for Saracens' defence to ponder, because for the first time, Bears have their paws on it inside the right 22 from their perspective. Bevan feeding a pack which has come under a whole heap of pressure recently, and all of their options down this left-hand side. Aitchison just delaying that pass back onto Reed on the switch. Courtney Keat, freshly introduced and only able to knock that one on the touchline. That's Bears' 3rd handling error, but Katie, it feels like more than that.
It does. I think what's hard is, and Dave touched on it there, because they haven't had a lot of possession, the pressure is on, isn't it? Every time they touch the ball, I think they've had one set of phases in Saracens' half. This is their second, and you just watch it here. It's a lovely. They've run this along, but she's just a bit tight, isn't she? Amber Reed hits her on the back of her shoulder when she wants to accelerate to it. So it's just Bristol trying to find their eye, not overplaying, just letting themselves go through the phases like Dave Ward just talked on. He just wants them to build a little bit of territory, build a little possession. Don't have to rush it. We're 29 minutes in. There's a full 60 minutes left of this game, so a lot of time.
Well, 50 minutes left on this game, and another one coming up on the horizon. That game, of course, a rematch of last year's final. Gloucester Hartpury hosting Exeter Chiefs at Queensholme. Officially Kingsholme, I suppose, these days, but we're going to stick with Queensholme because the women are in town, the reigning champions, looking to make it a clean sweep against Chiefs for the season and march on into back-to-back finals.
Here we go.
Speaking of finals, June the 22nd. Ink it into your diary, put it into your digital calendar, get a poster printed, whatever it takes. Do not miss 2 o'clock on Saturday the 22nd of June, because it's the big one. We will crown our PWR champion for 2024. And Saracens, with 2 converted scores to their name, will feel as though they've put perhaps a big toe in that big dance. Not a foot just yet. Well, that will have felt timely, Katie.
Yeah, big momentum swing there, especially when Bristol need an opportunity to get into Saracens 22, but also their line-out has gone so well for them this year, operating around 86%, but they've scored over 57% of their tries from line-out, so a huge moment for Bristol Bears here.
And the woman you want throwing the darts at a moment like this is the one spinning the ball now. Lark Atkin-Davies, top try scorer of the last 2 years, sends it high and arcing and onto the top line-out recipient in the league. Abby Ward piling in is Marston Mulhern, and just look at what her impetus adds. Immediately, Saracens start to backpedal. Here come Bears. 8 metres the difference now.
Don't change.
Poppy Cleal told not to change her bind, so too try scorer McKinley Hunt. Evie Gallagher recharges, reboots, goes again. They're inside 5 metres now. This would prove a crucial swing of the pendulum in this semi-final. Bristol told to use it. Saracens rising with it.
Very good defence, wasn't it, from Sarries there? Looked like Bristol had got that nudge on, but those defenders are sliding in the sides, not changing their bind. I think Bristol just lost their shape towards the end of that maul, and it's a good turnover from Saracens.
She should come off the arm at that time, so you keep high.
In the week, Dave Ward described Saracens as a street-wise team, and that is just epitomised in the nous and the guile of the likes of Emma Taylor, Poppy Cleal. They're seasoned campaigners, and they're right nuisances to play against.
Was he that polite about them?
He actually was. That's not a euphemism. He did say streetwise.
No, I mean, when you look at the likes of Poppy Cleal, Marley Packer, and You know, you've got people like Donna Rose on the bench. They are some of the most streetwise rugby players you will get. They know the ins and outs, especially Poppy, ins and outs of the laws, what she can, what she can't do. And she loves flirting with that line, shall we say.
5 metres out, they've got Harrison waiting in the pocket, but they'll look to get it away through the right boot of Veervas. It's not found touch. It did find touch. Loverbond caught napping there, really needed to have dealt with that one. Good kick from the Saracens scrum half.
Really smart bit of exit play. And I think this, for me, why Saracens a good side. Good carry, good pump from Poppy, and then it's a good kick from Ella, you know, finds grass. She gets a nice bounce there. It's a really, really good exit from Saracens there. Top draw.
See there, Ella Veervas, 6 England caps. She didn't get a sniff during the Six Nations. There's a duopoly of Mo Hunt and Lucy Packer right now, and it's going to be fascinating to see what she has to do to crack that.
Yeah, massively. I really like her, you know, as a young scrum half. She's quick. She's developed her kicking game, you know. She attacks. She's fearless in her defence. I think she will be knocking on that door. And she's just got to keep her head down and keep working, you know, change the views of whatever John Mitchell and his team think of her.
Someone who's inked into that Roses 23 for any given match day is Bottoman. Penalty drawn. The Bears looking to flex that advantage. They've got a fresh one here. Clear off her feet over the ball. Good position here for Bristol. 7 minutes remaining of the half.
Time off.
Yet to have a meaningful attack apart from that rolling maul, and yet to get a point on that scoreboard.
Okay, time's on. Off feet, it's offside as well. I'm guessing you weren't here, yeah? The advantage isn't the penalty.
Very good kick by Holly Aitchison there into the corner, you know. Again, wind's dropped a little bit, but it is a really good kick and a good opportunity for Bristol to really use this line out that's worked so well for them this season.
Well, the throw earlier was perfect, right to the tail to Abby Ward. See if they repeat the same. No, it's to Butchers this time, from a rose to a feather. And this one's also got plenty of momentum behind it. Bevan swiftly to it. They won't get caught out a second time. 6 metres the difference, and then there's a second rumble and charge forward, and now Bears building some steam, building some momentum, rumbling over, crashing down. That is the score, and that would have felt well worth waiting 34 long minutes for. Bears have arrived in North London.
It's what we've seen them do all season, you know. Very clinical. Great throw from that lady there, Lark-Akin-Davies. But it was well formed, wasn't it? There was no way for those Saris players to try and slide up the side or through the middle to stop that ball. Just very clinical. Changed the line out. Smart call from Abby Ward. And then you can see that ball. It is so well protected. It's just a case of inch by inch, metre by metre, just moving these Saris packs. And then as they lose some of their big forwards, Poppy Clean, I think Matt Carson, it's an easy one for Lark to slide up the side and finish.
Looks good.
66% off the tee this season for Amber Reid. Could knock a digit also off that. That one has drifted wide, and you wonder how crucial the place kicking might prove in a big and tight semi-final like this one.
Yeah, it's going to be really important, especially how well Zoe Harrison is kicking you. You see this here. This is what Bristol, for me, have to do more. Keep kicking the territory, go to their set piece, go to where they're comfortable, and really stress that Saris pack.
Because we talk about the thunder and the snarl of Saracens, and we wax lyrical about the dynamism and the whimsicality of Bristol Bears, but the truth is they are dangerous with a battering ram of their own. They can mix it with the most muscular teams in this league, and that's really come to the fore there. The deficit's 9. Reid, ball in 2 hands and eventually freeing one for an audacious infield offload. They're up to the halfway line. Ward just calling for Bottoman to just narrow the pass required there. The tight head for the day has a carry, and now this is through the hands of their inside centre, Aitchison, to Master Mulhern. Tipped on from Murray. Lovibond finds Keats, who thunders into Harrison, who proves that she's more than just the playmaker. She's a tackler too. That was meaty. Burns Marcel Mulhern appealing. Saracens were offside there, but the referee unperturbed. Burns bats that one onwards. Bears will have to put in, perhaps one final throw over the dice. Very animated Dave Ward to our right. I don't know if you heard what he was saying there, Katie. I couldn't make it out.
I would suggest it was he didn't agree with what was happening. By his wild actions, he's back on his feet now, as we can see. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on in that breakdown, is there? You know, you've got Poppy Cleal enjoying that kind of contest. She loves the mess of it, creating disorder, and she's doing a very good job out there today.
She's a big game player too, Poppy Cleal. Player of the match in the final in 19, the semi-final in 2022. Absolutely immense against Gloucester Hartpury in round 17. When it matters most, she just seems to find that extra gear.
She has a temperament for big games. You know, she is somebody who thrives, and I think you get two types of player, don't you? Somebody that doesn't like the pressure, maybe sinks into their shell. Somebody like Poppy is the opposite. It's almost like the bigger the challenge, the better the version you get of her. And she will relish this today. You know, Marcel Mulhern, Bottomman, people that she loves going up against will bring out the best in Poppy Cleal, and we're seeing that right now.
Well, Keats just suffered a second knock-on since being introduced, and a promising passage of play amounts to nothing for Bears as Alex Osterbury watches on, knowing there's 9 points in this one as half-time looms.
It's interesting, isn't it? Obviously, Wales sat between both coaching boxes at the minute, and obviously Bristol at the moment, they're kind of very much in the moment. Dave Ward there. Alex looks a little bit calmer from a Saracens perspective, but ultimately there's only 9 points in this game. You know, there's a bit of a wind. I think for Bristol, they've got to be really pleased with this half. I think the opportunity to play with a win at your back, to kick your territory, to have a line-out that's as successful and has been going as well as theirs has. And for Sarries, you know, they've had 4 or 5 entries and only come away with 2 tries. So I think for Bristol, it's been a decent half.
There's no control, and he says come through.
Let's play.
Here we are.
Saracens, 3-time champions, perennial finalists. Bristol Bears now 3-time semi-finalists, but never been to the grand finale of a Premiership season. Here's Loverbond. England under 20, been in and around Red Roses setups. Bevan forced to really rummage for that one, with Packer shouting at her from inches away, manages to excavate it. Swiftly to the breakdown again. Marcel Mulhern stopped in her tracks by De Goody. That is a collector's item. And then Poppy Cleal somehow rises with the ball, dishes it out the back with a casual little offload, and then Bears with another penalty. 10 seconds remain. Bevan shapes to go quickly, but Aitchison asks to take the sting out of this.
Yeah, it is last play. Line, Jaws. Last play, Sarries. Avi, last play. Okay. Keep the space, please. Just please start in, please.
What can Bears spring here? This would completely transform the complexion of this one. Well, they're going to look to march it, to steamroll their way into the 22, but surely it's not going the distance. That would be Herculean. Bevan onto Aitchison with the little dummy, just seeing who might nibble from Saracens' defensive line. Fabulous take. 15 on 15, Loverbond manages to find Keat, who's like a steam train once she gets going, but there's Saracens' hands on the ball. Just about stays the way with Bears. Now starting to string together forays into Saracens' territory. Gallagher was the one carrying into the black jerseyed defensive wall. Here is Atkin Davies.
You've backed off, play on.
Fearsome clear out from Bottomman. Aitchison to Loverbond, but not, because it's gone over the top of Loverbond's shoulder.
Release.
Double shot there from Evans. Placements there Even Aitchison lending her weight out the clear out, just making sure the ball stays with Bristol, but they're going backwards up to the 10-metre line. Bosserman looked to see who was in front of her. It was Canada's captain, but that did not faze the tight head, not in the slightest. Here now is Murray, out onto Bonner. 2 tries against Saracens the last time these sides met. Bristol Bears back of the season. And such a fizzing winger. Sophie de Goody, cometh the hour, cometh the maple. She's a phenomenon. She's done it again to bring about the end of this half.
I'm saving you from a 2-week ban.
I think she's lucky there. I would argue there's no clear release on that before she's gone in for that jackal. Probably see why Bristol might be potentially a bit frustrated in there. But really good defensive set by Bristol, by Saracens. Allow Bristol to go through their phases, and when this opportunities really pick them. Good spots from Ella Vivas to get out the line, you know, it was very, very good defensive set.
Interesting to see if Saracens go for the jugular here, or if they opt to get it off.
Knock-on advantage.
Again, the lineouts have been all over the shop. These are 2 of the best teams in the country, but they just cannot get those particular drills to stick. That ball going through the legs of half of the Bristol Bears backline. Ball eventually knocked on, and that will bring about the end of a fascinating first half here in North London. Strewn with errors, but also littered with quality and bursting with intensity. 2 tries for Saracens, Corinne Grant and McKinley Hunt. Lark Atkin-Davies striking back for Bristol Bears. The most important half-time talks of their campaigns await as these 2 sides head to the sheds. It is 14 points to 5. Well, our referee Alex Thomas was very clear as they headed in for the interval that he would not be speaking to Dave Ward, he would not be courting any conversations before the break, and it'll be fascinating to see how Bears not only play with the wind at their back, Katie Daly-McLean, but also how they handle the match officials in the second half, because the penalty count was quite steeply against them at points.
Yeah, I think it's 2 very good questions, isn't it? You know, the penalty count, you've got to find a way to influence the referee. You might not agree with it, but you've got to find a way of working with that referee. For me, it's about the wind. You know, Bristol have some phenomenal kickers, Amber-Ree, Kira Bevan, Holly Aitchison, but it's whether they've put the plan in place that they're going to utilise it, or whether they're going to stick to their DNA, this running game, this edge-to-edge game, and how that's going to play out as the second half unfolds.
Well, something that's been at the heart of their plans all season has been Marston Mulhern skittling opposition defenders, and she's just bagged a couple of Saracens there to open her account for the second half. Tries for Grant and for Hunt, McKinley Hunt that is, in the first half. A response from Lark Atkin-Davies, her 11th of the campaign. They do need to get a foothold in this, Bears. Just make that breeze count. Courtney Keats, who was an early introduction after Deborah Wills went off injured, had a tough first few minutes. Couple of knock-ons, but that was a barnstorming carry there down the 5-metre channel. Bevan to Bosserman. Marston Mulhern with the clear out. And this time Murray in as acting scrum half. Late shot coming in there on Burns, but Reid was there to hoover up this bouncing ball. Butchers onto Bonner.
No, second go.
Breach was there with the tackle and now skips away from the breakdown to fill herself back in the backfield. They've got 3 back at the moment, Saracens, which is interesting because Bears are about as likely to kick it, you feel, as Katie Daly-McLean is to grow antlers alongside me. Bosserman onto Murray. This now is Loverbond, who puts her foot to the floor and just cruises past a couple of defenders before she is snagged. She glides once she gets going. Nothing gliding about Bosserman in that moment. That was rampaging, and it rambunctiously got her up over the gain line.
Ball's lifted.
Cleel clattering Bevan, but not before she could get the ball away, and Pam thrusts that one backwards. Ball wasn't out. Packer pinged. What a position for Bears to come up with a penalty.
It's clear refereeing, isn't it? You know, we're seeing the ball's out, but it's Marley Packard's action, isn't it? She's got to stay on her feet. She's got to go and pick that ball up. Better from Bears, though. You know, a good, real solid start to that second half, going through their phases, sticking to their pattern. Easy penalty now that Holly can kick into the corner.
There we go.
The point you made at half-time, which I thought was so pertinent, Katie, was that the gap is just 9. This is a close game, score sheet-wise, regardless of what the stats might say.
100%, and that's what I kept saying in the first half. I think Bristol will be the happier side going into this, you know. Sarries had multiple entries into Bristol's 22, but only took two tries, and as you see, Bristol here go to that maul.
Bears with a 6th entry into the Saracens 22. They've managed 1 try so far. They'll look to crank that conversion rate up as they creep and creak their way towards the whitewash. It's over. Oh, and now they have their 2nd. And now we have got a right game on our hands in this semi-final. Lark Atkin-Davies is purring in Bristol colours. And there's 4 points in it.
Just smart Bristol play, isn't it? Like I said, on the first try, we saw them do exactly this. DNA, very, very precise, organised. Everybody knows their roles, and they just went through the motions. And Sarries are a good defensive side. I think Sarah Hunter spoke about it at half-time. They will have done their homework on Bristol, but it's very difficult to stop.
No mistake this time from Amber Reid, who just stroked that one over. 2 points, the deficit.
Just see here, really good arrows by Lark, and they just look very solid on the Sarries. Don't look like they can do anything about it. And again, for Bristol, that's what they've got to stick at. Keep at it.
Harrison's restart ends over end, fielded well by Ward, but up to the task was Packer, who affected the turnover, set off after it, and has it beneath the throng of bodies there. Short side, Virvax onto Gregson. Has Bonner for company. Somehow managed to flirt and skirt with the touchline, but get it back in field to De Goody.
No.
He has a compatriot for company. It's Hunt, just making sure the ball stays with the hosts. Looking to respond. Harrison finds Taylor. The ball just knocked on. And Bears have flown from the traps in the second half.
Yeah, all momentum as Bears at the moment, isn't it? Really high energy. You can hear them from here. Good defensive set, force and errors from Sarries, and this is what's going to be the beauty of knockout rugby. We will have lots of these throughout this next 40 minutes, but it's the teams that can capitalise on the momentum and turn the momentum into points.
Well, an early change from Alex Osterbury. Just 5 minutes into this second half, McKinley Hunt is off, which means that Akina Gondway has come on. She has played in every game for Saracens this season, joining from Worcester after the club's sad demise, and just thriving here in North London. She is 5'1" of pure dynamite. She'll pack down opposite a Bears front row, which now contains the joint top try scorer in the league, because Lark Atkin-Davies is up to 13, level with Abby Dow.
Stay in, off her arm.
That was proper toe-to-toe, eye-to-eye hustle there, and this time Bears kick it. Paige Farries can just punch it into touch. It's a huge territory game for Bears, with Bevan at the heart of it.
Really smart kick. How much easier is that? Ugo talked about conserving your energy. Nice wind here. You've made, what, 40, 45 metres there, and it's taken one person to make a really simple decision. For me, that is huge for Bristol. Maybe we're seeing a little bit more of a mentality shift from them as well.
And again, Osterbury reaches into his box of tricks and pulls out a Donna Rose on the occasion of her 50th appearance for Saracens. Both props changed now. Gallagher brings that one down. Atkin-Davies was there, a little wraparound. Here is Aitchison, wrapped up and thumped back down. Gallagher next to have a carry. Saracens' hands on the ball, but illegally. The penalty count, another area which is just going the way of the visitors now. That's a kickable penalty.
I definitely take the points. Amber Reid, very, very good goal kicker. You know, gives you a, puts you ahead if she kicks this 15-14, and just building a score. Big decision.
That was me. That's fine.
There's so much fighting talk in these big playoff matches, Katie. But Abby Ward, I thought, was particularly interesting in the week. She said we wanted Saracens because Saracens away is her favourite day in the diary. She absolutely relishes these occasions. She says it brings the best out of everyone around her. Everyone raises their game. And also, in previous years, Saracens have felt untouchable, but she thinks that aura is gone now.
Abby Ward loves a big statement, and again, she's like Poppy Cleo. She's a big game player, and I think these moments bring the best out of them. You know, there's a lot of close international friends in that group. The likes of Poppy, Abby, Marley, you know, they'll know each other very, very well. And it's great to see because we want to see the best players going toe-to-toe in the biggest occasions, and semi-finals are pretty big.
This one is feeling bigger by the moment because there's 2 points in it. And Bears have got the ball 7 metres from Saracens' line. Make that 6. The initial counter shove from Saracens was formidable, but now Bears have got a toe. And they might well have an advantage to play with here. Reed pops it up and on to Keat. Farry's with the tackle right before the sticks. Now Bears, bodies in motion, flooding around that short side, just resourcing these open patches of North London turf. Aitchison up and on to Loverbond, shaped to throw the offload, but instead kept it safe, riding the tackle. 4 metres in it now. Botcherson wants her hands on it, fancies that one-on-one with Packer, but the Saracens captain stuck her shot. Ward to Reed, options. This is what Bears do. This is how Bristol Bears play their rugby. Weaving their intricate attacking tapestries and hitting the front for the first time in this semi-final. It's water that Dave Ward was sipping, but in that moment, I bet it tasted like champagne. Bristol have the lead.
Really well worked try. It all, for me, stemmed from that 50-22, or that Kira Berrin hit, what, 5 minutes before, but he had just seen the best of them, you know, big carries, and then their skills come to line, people running straight, ball out in front. I don't think Alicia Butcher's needed to give that try line, was an easy run in for her, but just chasing shoulders, fixing. They had 2 players spare in the end, but it was done by the hard work from the forwards, the catch and drive line out, really squeezing and making Saracens work.
Proper tester for Amber Reed, and it does sail wide, but Courtney Keats, introduced before she was expecting to this afternoon, has got herself a try, and it will just be the biggest of her season.
Yeah, it really was. Abby Ward did great there. You know, looked like she was going to carry, pulled away from the line. And Bristol have been running this shape all year. You know, the girls are really familiar with it. They look very comfortable. But for me, that was the first time where the forwards had done a good enough job to tighten Saracens up and allow them that edge space to run into.
Half an hour to play. Saracens 14, Bristol 17. It will be fascinating to see how the 3-time champions respond to falling behind for the first time. They are such happy front runners. Pam, back from that ankle injury that required surgery, scuppered her hopes of a Six Nations call-up and carrying just as she was doing last season. Bevan, Aitchison, a Reed on to Murray, just ticking through the jersey numbers, Bears, going through their patterns. Gallagher, like a pinball. Little floating pass onto Marston Mulhern, and Ward somehow turns from distributor to receiver and makes an extra couple of yards for her side, leading by 3. Aitchison, skip pass onto Butchers, who's growing more and more involved in this game, just finding her feet now on these lofty stages. Pam, spider half gap. Aitchison this time, the first receiver, and then Marston Mulhern up and over the top of Gondway, but penalty goes the way of Saracens, and the stand making themselves heard, desperate to wrestle some momentum back.
What's number 1? Okay, tackled, beyond the breakdown.
Cheap penalty those, isn't it? The referee is blown up because they've taken them past the breakdown, something that is probably unnecessary. those moments when you're Bristol, when you're playing on the front, when you've managed to grab the momentum, you're getting out of your 22, getting out of your half. They're the ones that I think they're called coach killers, aren't they? Because coaches find them really frustrating, unnecessary penalties.
Well, speaking of coach killers, we have got Alex Osterbury on hand, which is perfect timing because Hugo Monnier. We will be fascinated to hear how he will respond to that third try from Bristol Bears.
Yeah, absolutely. That's stood here, Alex Osterbury. When you look at the opening 12 minutes, it's been a 12-minute turnaround. What's happened and how have you lost momentum in the second half?
I think we're making some poor decisions at the breakdown, and then we're not probably being as good in the contact skills as we need to be, and we've given Bristol real impetus, and they've punished us.
They punish you through their lineup. How do you slow that down?
We have, well, first of all, don't give away the penalties that then fuel the territory, that then give you the ability to catch and drive. I think we've got to be slightly more effective with our hit when it comes to ground, but hopefully we can rectify that in the next few minutes. Yeah,
pivotal moment of the game. What do you want to see from the Saracens women right now?
Keep hold of the ball. Let's force them to make errors discipline-wise. And yeah, execute, because I think we've been really sloppy in this area of the game. Should be a penalty advantage here, maybe.
Yeah, I'll let you get on and focus on this. All the very best of luck. Claire, back to you.
Discipline right at the heart of both coaches' thoughts. It has been instrumental, as it is in every game, but particularly when poised on a knife edge like this. You cannot make those poor decisions. You cannot afford those sloppy errors. It's a goodie. Swiftly reloading there was Campbell.
No.
Just goes and goes and goes. Now this is Taylor. Saracens 3 metres out. Vivas finding a heavy on her shoulder, and now the gap is just 1 metre. This to reclaim the lead, to go back in front.
Get behind the line.
Patient, repeated efforts. This is something they are oh so formidable at, inexorable. From this sort of distance, they love a multi-phase attack, do the women in black. But now they'll look to ship it wide. Harrison with the fix, looking to make the pass, was breached, knocked on and forwards to Farries, the woman they call the eel. And I wonder if she might have just slivered over there. There was so much in the build-up. Bonner with the knock-on.
Alex,
let's listen in.
To that knock-on, and then we'll play it all the way through.
Yeah, sure. We should look at it all again. Okay. TMO, on-fields try. Let's go back and check the deliberate knock-off first, and then we'll look at the try.
Yeah, we're going to watch the grounding first, okay, and then we'll go back to the...
We're just coming down to the screen now, Dan.
Yeah, no worries, it's showing for you now.
Katie, what are we checking for here? What might be the issue with this grounding?
So he's checking the grounding, but it's also, I think, if you look at the double movement, so then she can't do that once she's come static.
Okay,
and then crawls to get to line, so we'll just check.
Crawl with a knee push, so we're at no try. So let's go back and look at whether it's a deliberate knock-on first then.
Yeah, and there's here now.
She hasn't gone to catch it.
Yeah, so for me, 14 white, that right arm's come out, it's not part of the tackle, so I see that as a deliberate action.
I agree.
So that's a deliberate knock-on, and I'm at yellow card. So can we just look at it again, just to look at any covering players, to look at whether it's then...
Yeah, we're going to find you a wide angle now. Here it is, Al.
Perfect, thank you. Sorry?
So Renika Bonner will be headed to the sin bin. The question is whether or not there was cover for Paige Farries out on the wing. This could be a yellow card and a penalty try.
Have you got any other angles on that one, Dan?
No, it's that wide one. We're just going to see if it is looking like it's going to hand. Bear with, this will be the best one.
So there's no cover there.
Yeah, it is going to hand.
For me, it looks like it's going to hand. So is it number 14, white, yellow card, deliberate knock-on, and a penalty try. Perfect.
I agree.
Thank you.
Well, we mentioned that this game was on a knife edge. It's just toppled off one side of it. What a swing in the game that is. Renika Bonner, the heroine against Saracens last time out, that brace in round 14. Will spend 10 minutes as a spectator only. And Alex Thomas will head beneath the sticks and award Saracens the full 7.
Massive of momentum swing again there, wasn't it? It was against the run of play. Bristol had been on top. Those moments are so hard because as a player, Bonner is so reactive to that. You know, good decision, I think, to move it. You thought that maybe Sarries hadn't moved it quick enough, but because she gets a pan there, referee saying there's no cover, so a try has been prevented from scoring. It goes to a penalty try.
There was a crawl, that's why there's no try. There was a crawl, that's why no try.
Such a brilliant young player.
Time's up.
Incredibly tough to take. How do Bears ensure they manage the next 10 minutes?
Sorry.
And this is where, for me, your kicking game becomes really important, doesn't it? You know, what you need to do is have a lot of territory. You don't want to have the possession in your half, so you utilise Amber Reid, Kira Bevan, Holly Aitchison to really pin Sarries back in those corners.
Well, the restart certainly was deep. McKenna using all of that experience to get them back out of their 22, and that's why she's been brought in for this one. As Sophie Bridger amongst the replacements so often in that 12 jersey for Saracens, but in McKenna you have someone who has played in so many big games.
100%, and a really experienced player. You know, Sarah McKenna is such a good energy to have as well. She's a real positive person, loves being around the game, and also is just a workhorse and somebody who's going to connect that back forward link, can play as a playmaker. It's a really smart decision by Alex this weekend.
England under-20s backs coach, Saracen women's skills coach. She's really building up quite the portfolio in a tracksuit, and she's not doing her thing on the pitch.
The flow.
And another little chip and chisel away at Bristol's momentum. Saracens will have the put in here.
Okay. I don't want two in the front of this side. If I don't. Crouch! Bind! Set! Height!
Saracens ahead once more by 4 points. Renika Bonner watching on.
This side fine, it's that side. Yeah.
But all of this just eating away at the time that Bears will spend with a player deficit.
Yeah, Bristol were really happy just to let this scrum keep rolling on. No rush here from Bristol to reset this, you know, exactly that. They'll just want that score, that time, just to keep ticking over to get Bonner back on the pitch, get back to 15.
In and out, clean as a whistle. Harrison looping that one across to Gregson. Now breach, but she's got Murray for company, and Reid goes sniffing. Just wondering if there might be something to be done on the floor there.
Stop in front.
Harrison raking that up and over. It's a real tester for Butchers, who did brilliantly to get hands on it, but can only pass it back towards May Campbell, who's always the first one to a loose ball. She reacts so quickly. Saracens from one end of the field to another, and now Harrison turning herself inside and out to flick that pass onto Cleo. Forwards are not meant to pass like that. That is special from Poppy Cleo. Farries onto breach, ball knocked on, dribbles from her clutches. Bears with the scrum put in. But Poppy Cleo distributing with pure velvet in her fingertips.
This is one of the things that I think is massively underrated. We're going to see Zoe Harrison's little crossfield kick here, and I think it was out to Sophie de Goody, wasn't it, who just gets in the air, but just does a good job. But it's great support there by May Campbell. But this pass here, some centres, international centres, would struggle to throw that pass. But Poppy's skill set is phenomenal. By far, one of the most talented forwards in the women's game. You know, the vision she has, and then the ability to execute, and that's the two things, isn't it? Some people see it and they don't have the skill set. Some people just don't even see it as a forward and they just carry. But this lady on your screen, and 150th appearances for Sarries is pretty impressive, isn't it?
There was so much noise around her not receiving that Red Roses contract this week, but I thought that her Instagram post about it was pure class. She was so quick to say that the real story was that there were 2 additional contracts handed out this year and 2 new players could live their dreams. It just oozed generosity and selflessness, and I thought that said a lot about Poppy.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, Poppy will be hurt about this, you know, she's a fierce competitor. Playing for England is a pretty big deal for that lady, and I think, you know, people will go about it different ways. Some people say, you know, just get your head down, don't say anything, just work hard. Poppy wanted to come out, she wanted to say something. I thought, like you say, it was a lovely thing to say, but she will be ferocious in that. She will want to go to a World Cup. She will want another opportunity to put her hand up. And I think, you know, she's playing pretty well today, and I'm sure the England coaches watching that will be impressed by how she's going about her business.
Well, she spoke with real grace, but Alex Osterbury was able to be much more forthright. He spoke about what an incredible player she has been for Saracens and for England over the years, and that he has every confidence she will be an incredible player for Saracens and for England again.
Yeah, and I agree, you know, if somebody needs a challenge and somebody who will rise to a challenge, it is Poppy Cleall, and anybody who knows her will know that. I think she just needs to get her head down and work. I'm sure she would have received some feedback from England. It's about being true to herself, but also just making sure that when she's getting that opportunity to play in these games for Sarries, that she's really happy with that. And I think that's all you can do as a player. You can't control other people's opinions of you. All you can do is make sure at the end of the game, when you walk off, have you given 100% and are you happy with that? And I know Poppy will be very, very determined, shall we say, to get back in that World Cup mix.
Okay, all good? There's your mark.
Bristol's front row on change. Saracens now with Akina Gonzwe and Donna Rose. Getting cosy with the Bristolian front row. They've got Amber Reid behind this scrum, but not directly behind it. So I wonder if there's a Marston Mulhern special coming. Oh, they're not going to need one. They've won themselves the penalty.
3 is turned in. Thank you. 3 lost the bind and turned in.
There's just a constant dialogue taking place down there. An alternative commentary.
Yeah, it really is. Hannah Bottoman will thrive on that. We'll know Donna Rose very well, so no doubt there is a lot to be said before that scrum is packing down.
And the mark.
Into the final quarter of this one, just 4 points in it, 3 tries apiece. Kicks the difference, and then of course the gifted conversion of the penalty try. Renika Bonner won't be far off returning. Bristol have the wind, but the stat pack says that Saracens are the best team in the league in the final quarter of games. It's beautifully poised.
No impact, no impact.
In come Marston Mulhern and Gallagher.
Going forward again.
Just making sure that the momentum stays with the white jerseyed pack, and Marston Mulhern looks up, sees Ella Vivas in her way and just ducks her head in a pair of granity shoulders and keeps on rumbling. Ward. Well met by Gonzwe and Cleall. But now the advantage going away of Bristol, and Gallagher just half puncturing the gain line there. Bosserman running at her former teammate Evans. Ward picks and goes. Most casual one-handed offload through the midfield, and now Bears jam a foot to the accelerator. Chasing that kick is Bevan, just skittles out of the hands of Grant. Rising with the ball is Murray, who now finds Butchers. They're into the 22. This is when they threaten. This is when Burns
Fair advantage.
just knocks it on.
Those moments in a game like this are so crucial. On the nice little kick there from Holly Aitchison, you know, just changing it up a little bit. Got a really nice bounce on this, and it's a good carry. You think Bristol into 22, gonna go through the motions, and I think it's a Delaney Burns just takes her eye. Yeah, just took her eye before she'd firmly got that ball in 2 hands. Something she'll be really disappointed with.
Well, you want to have selection headaches, Alex Osterbury said in the week, and I'm sure he will have had some sleepless nights over dropping his captain, Lottie Clapp, to the bench. 3 times she's lifted the Premiership title She's been on top of so many podiums in a Saracens jersey. But what experience to bring on to see out this game.
Yeah, and I mean, Corinne Grant proved him right as well, didn't a really nice try that she took. I thought she's been very good today, you know, good with ball in hand. But like you say, bringing Lottie Clapp on in a game like this, last 20 minutes, you know, great defender, strong runner. But Saris just need to keep on top of Bristol, keep the ball. They probably need the scoreboard. 2 scores next could be a big decider in this game as well, especially if it's Saris. So it's a great person to bring off the bench.
Just over 2 minutes remaining on Bonner's yellow card. So Bears defending this. Down a woman, and now staring down the barrel of an advantage.
You've got advantage.
Saracens can stick it all on black, really give this some. But for now, they're opting to keep it tight.
Back to the offside.
So back we come.
9's offside.
Bonner is now up on her feet,
Bristol 9
champing at
offside.
the bit to get involved. Well, apart from the initial penalty try, Katie, Bears have managed this well. They've not conceded any further points.
Yeah, definitely, you know, and they've played a lot of territory and had quite a bit of possession in the Saracens half. So, yeah, I think they'll be pleased with how that 10 minutes has gone as she enters the field again. It's a good, strong 10 minutes.
Knock on. Knock on the line out.
Well, no one's stolen as many line-outs this season as Alicia Butchers, but she was only able to stab that one forward. So the line-out turns into a scrum.
64-20 in that clock, okay? Let's go then. On, we're going.
Bonner is warming up, and so too
Let's go.
is Holly Cunningham, who will be coming on very shortly. Well stocked in the lock department are Bears.
If you're going to go out, you be around the back foot. Crouch! Bind! Set!
Harrison wonders what might be on in the midfield. Pops it out to McKenna, who finds Farries infield.
No.
Another one who came from Worcester to North London over the course of the summer. Now Clapp, the co-captain, with hands on the ball, but the knock-ons are coming thick and fast. This one from Jess Breach. Anna Bosman's had plenty of reps at tight head today. We'll have another scrum.
She really has, hasn't she? Kind of gone just a bit of a snake up the pitch.
Time's off. White forward change.
15 minutes remaining of this one. 15 minutes between Saracens and a 5th Premiership final. Bears and a maiden trip to the big dance. But there's a pair of sides up next to know how it feels to be at the summit of the game. And they'll be going toe-to-toe at 4:30 today. Stay with us on TNT1 for build-up to Gloucester Hartpury, the reigning champions, up against Exeter Chiefs, in the company of Sarah, Skaz and Sarah. And then the winner of this will face the winner of that at the big one, the PWR Final, Saturday, June the 22nd, 2 o'clock, down at Sandy Park. If you can't join us there in real life, we've got you covered. A meaty build-up, and then an even meatier game on TNT Sports 1.
Crouch! Bind!
15 Wolves and 15 Bears out on the park here at the StoneX. We're back to full complements on either side. Bevan with a plethora of options. Finds her 12, who finds her 13. Murray having to thrust that one backwards because McKenna had eyes for a turnover. Leanne Infante is now on. So Vivas is gone as a new scrum half, and we talked about Bevan and Vivas having plenty of feist. Infante's got more than enough of her own. So expect the back chat to dial up even further. Marston Mulhern. Seemingly inexhaustible supplies of ballast. Now this is Ward. Rose with the tip and the dunk. Bevan through a trio of dummies before eventually finding Reedy. Thinks that she spied a little window of opportunity. Lasted for about as long as Sophie de Goody allowed it to. Pam wants it. Pam has it. Takes a couple of tackles to bring her down, and someone has thrown someone's boot into the stands here at the StoneX. There's a player down. Might well be Poppy Cleal. Bevan to Reed, to Aitchison. That play-making axis so fluid. First, second receiver, it doesn't matter.
Okay, tackle!
And Bonner's first involvement since returning. Since conceding that penalty try, which changed the lead again in this one. Butchers heads in field. Look at the black jerseys descending upon her. The offload squirts out, gathered by Cunningham, who's now on. Penalty advantage, Bevan. Kicks it up and over the top. So we'll come back for that one.
Agreed. Time's off. Got 2 injuries.
Saracens appealing.
Amber, I'm playing penalty advantage for a high.
To go back and have a look at a tackle in that passage of play.
Well, the AR is.
Lots going on, wasn't it? A lot of bodies strewn around the floor, but smart again by Alicia Butchers. I think she's been very good for Bristol today. Just gets her head up early. Sees there's no 9 in that kind of in the boot, in behind that breakdown, and just goes ahead. But for me, getting that way from the breakdown, she knew Molly Packer was hot on her heels, loves a jackal, wants to be in there, and as we kind of just, everybody picks up the pieces now and kind of takes a breath, isn't it?
Yeah, penalty only's fine now. Good.
Thanks. It's 7.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, it's going to be a rejig of Bristol's backline because Ella Loverbond, fullback, is headed off, and Meryl Smith has come on. Now, Smith plays fullback for Scotland. They do like her in the centres at Bristol, so we'll find out shortly what that means. Feels a little bit, Katie, like we do have a 15-minute sprint finish on our hands here. 4 points in it, tries enough for Bears to wrestle this one back. Yellow cards all expired, so it's basically 15 minutes, who wants it more?
Feels a little bit like that, doesn't it? It kind of is. It hasn't been a classic by anybody's kind of standards, but there's been moments, hasn't there? Moments of individual brilliance, moments of the team starting to click. But yeah, I think you're totally right. I think this could come down to one score. I think if Saris get it, it's game done. But I think Bristol are more than capable of kind of, like you say, using that style. You look at Amber Reed, she's been very good again. I think this is where Poppy Keel gets injured. And this is, I think, she's where she's played.
We'll wait for Poppy first.
And Bristol just have so many players that can do those moments of brilliance, can't they? So, yeah, I think we're going to have we're in for a big 15 minutes.
Yeah, we'll wait for it to get off.
The Saracens are going to do it. They're going to have to do it without one of their talismans. Because Poppy Cleal, on her 150th appearance for the club, is limping from the field. May Campbell is still with us. That's a surprise to precisely no one. She so frequently goes the distance at hooker. Cleal's being applauded off here at the StoneX. She is one of their favourite daughters here.
Yeah, edge. Thank you.
And we have seen this one before.
Big moment, isn't it? For everybody to be on the same page here.
Atkin Davies towards countless reps in training, so many of them already in the league this year, in this very match, in this semi-final, which is so finely poised. Bevan up and on to Aitchison. Reed sends it wide. Smith's first involvement is a scamper against the grain and then back out. Tackle made by Farries. That was Keys, really dragged her towards that touchline. They'll come back in field. Atkin Davies has made her way all the way coast to coast to roll up her sleeves and get involved there. Bevan, crisp, efficient service, finds Cunningham, then Bosserman, Aitchison. Just deciding which of her strike runners she will employ. And now Bonner. Tackled by Harrison. Someone needs to play scrum half. It's Bevan. Cunningham on to Taylor. Pam with the clear out. She's voracious. Penalty goes the way of Bristol. This is getting buried in the corner. And someone's just dialed up the tension at the StoneX by another couple of notches.
It really has, though, hasn't it? I've got to admit, I'm kind of now sitting up straight, and it's what you want from a semi, isn't it? You want the big games, you want all this energy, but big moments for Bears now.
Molly, think on your arms first and then back. Support your weight. Think about the penalties in this area. Every time we come down, we seem to get a few. Line, please.
Well, Alex Thomas, our referee, in no uncertain terms, telling Marley Packer to tidy things up in this area.
Timing, please.
Well, after faltering and sputtering at the start of this match, Bears have started to find some consistency with the line out. 5 metres out. This is just what they do. Lark Atkin-Davies on a hat-trick. This would be seismic. Talked about big matches and big moments and big players.
2 back foot.
Inch by inch. Bears creep and then stall. So now they find width through Aitchison. This could be the moment. Reed heading back infield. They've got to be accurate here. Saracens have to be disciplined, but one of them is going to get this right and one of them is going to get this wrong. And with 4 points in it, this could be huge over the course of this season. Advantage going the way of Bears. Pam wants it to the right. Bonner's out on this wing, but they keep it narrow. Referee's got to go and take a look. Bears are claiming it.
Dan, coming to you. On field, no try.
But we're going to head up to our TMO, Dan Jones.
I have no grounding live.
Referee doesn't have a grounding. On-field decision is no try. Can't see a grounding, so up we head.
It's around his questioning, though, isn't it? Because he hasn't given the try.
I'm not seeing any Saracens player under that ball.
I can't see it clearly grounded there, Al. So bear with, let's try this angle.
Voice of Dan Jones, our television match official. Well, Master Mulhern thinks she spied a grounding.
Just one more angle, Al.
So that for me is the compelling evidence down the ball with that hand grounded.
Alex, I have a decision for you.
Perfect.
Yeah, on that angle you can see it grounded on the line, so you may award the try.
Okay, tapped on.
Well, the evidence was compelling, and Lark Atkin-Davies proved unstoppable. A hat-trick on the biggest of stages. Bristol have the lead. Kick to come. Kick's a good one. And Saracens trail by 21 points to 24 with 12 fast minutes remaining in North London.
Yeah, smart play by Bristol as you watch it here. Forwards go to work. Abby Ward looked a little bit on her own, but we don't get a clear roll there. And it's that lady, Lark Atkin-Davies, 2 from the driving maul. Great low body position. And she's over.
The Bears have got the bit between their teeth now. Pam off the restart as though fired from a cannon at the Saracens' defence. Master Mulhern chalks up another one. Why wouldn't she? 12 points, though, is a long... 12 minutes, rather, is a long time. And 3 points is not much of a gap. Cunningham with a bump and a thump. Reed on towards Aitchison, finds Gallagher. And as much as we talked about the Saracens back row, a trio of World Player of the Year nominees, Bears have been right up to the task. Gallagher's carries, Butcher's involvements, Marston Mulhern's unstoppable desire to just flatten opposition. Advantage the way of Bristol.
Clear with his decision-making, referee there, is it got to arrive up. But again, the Saracens have got to temper their intensity now. They know they need the ball, they know they need to get high. But what they can't do is keep giving penalties, because it just allows Allianz to kick Bristol into the corner and Bristol to go to their driving wall, which has been so good for them in their attacking 22 today.
Well, they're just outside the box office. Well, Captain Davies will be astride the 22 as she throws this one.
Penalties. We're under advantage there as well.
A hat-trick in a PWR semi-final. She managed 2 against Gloucester Hartbury last year. She's gone and outdone herself. The game's not done yet. Marston Mulhern. She is a titan. And now Gallagher, with slightly more footwork and finesse, but still also getting up over that defensive line. Ward, whose handling has been so clean and crisp throughout for Bears. They really rely on her as a distributor. Pops up again. Saracens' discipline coming on stuck at the seams. This could be... Well, it's a yellow card for their scrum half. Leanne Infante will not return to this playoff match.
Yeah, of all the players in positions to get yellow cards, losing your 9 in a moment like this is a big one to lose. No offence to wingers. But Sarries have coughed up a lot of penalties, 6 penalties. Bristol have only given 2. Definitely given the referee almost like that kind of clear decision-making here to go. They've got to roll away. She's got to get out of that quicker. She's got to make it really, really clear for him.
Georgia Evans and May Campbell have left the field, so on come Bryony Fields and Lou McMillan.
Who's the 9? In we get then, in we get. Thank you.
They've dominated the territory. In this attritional game of chess, it's been Bristol who've been clearing up all the Saracens pieces in this second half, and now they're marching towards what could prove a 4th and what could prove the decisive score in this one. They've got the advantage.
Held up.
They've been held up by Saracens there.
Time's off. We were playing advantage. Just 1 second.
But our referee's patience is wearing oh so thin.
5 has changed the binds. Just a penalty, no penalty tries, had no impact. Okay, 5. Change the bind.
Which means that Saracens will play out the rest of this semi-final down to 13 women. Emma Taylor is off. Sharifa Kasola, who you just saw on your pictures, she is on for Saracens, and they will need all of her dynamism, her athleticism now, because they will play with 2 women less than the Bears, who are beating and pounding on their try line now.
Step off. Just step off. Off. Space. Space.
Bristol Bears have never reached a Premiership final, and they will never in their history have felt closer. Leading by 3, 4 metres out, and facing a Saracen side without 2 personnel. Surely the dam will burst. Surely the pressure will tell.
No hands! No hands!
It's absolute chaos. Bears need to get the ball away and cleanly, because they've got the numbers. Atkin Davies, a woman possessed today, goes again. Now this is Marston Mulhern.
No.
Bosserman is calling for it. She's got Pam for company on her shoulder. We talk about Bears' sparkle and their panache, but they have just punched Saracens this second half. Body blow after body blow, and there's another one. We've got an advantage to play with. They can throw everything at this. Hunting for a 5th try in this semi-final, hunting for history.
Wait. Nothing clear live. Just wait 1 second, thank you. Time's off, Molly. Offside, and offside again, 2 consecutive players. Improving this area, I've put 2 in the bin, more will go if it carries on. Of course, time's off. Just one saying around head on head.
And Marley Packer will feel as though she is playing rugby in a nightmare right about now.
Yeah, it's a big ask, isn't it, as a captain, you know. Referee's very clear what he's seeing, though. Players need to reach your back foot, that they're given daylight. So hard, though, when you're defending your line, when you're only 5 metres out, because you know you need to try and give yourself a bit of distance between yourself and the try line.
So there you go, keep them on, you step off. Clear space.
Cunningham receiving that one, and look how swiftly Atkin Davies is to the base of this big white tractor, which just starts to exert its way up towards the try line. Saracens disrupt it brilliantly. Gallagher decides to go it alone, thinks there might be a sniff down that open side. Now Bottoman, met by McMillan, but still going. Hannah Bottoman, still going. Held up.
Held up. She's fallen over the line and she's held up.
Saracens are bailing a tsunami with a teacup, but somehow they are still alive in this one.
This gives them the opportunity to go and win the game now, doesn't it? 6 minutes left on the clock. You've massive defensive effort, but they've got to get high now. They've got to get into Bristol's 22. First, they've got to get the ball back.
It's a ball that Murray has now as she skips and hurdles her way over the first couple of tackles, brought down, and Bristol Bears, who have just camped out in this Saracens 22 all second half, will have another bite at the cherry. 3 points the difference. Saracens without 2 of their players.
She's in the way.
Casolo hauling herself up from the floor. There will be some exhausted bodies out there. Saracens defending with 13. Murray finding Smith. Bonner with just Harrison to beat. Beats her! Renika Bonner! It's a fairy tale! Yellow carded down the other end of the field and heartbroken on the sidelines. But she has returned with relish, and this tyro has scorched over for the try that might just have sealed Bristol Bears their first ever ticket to the biggest dance in the sport.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for more, could you? You know, well moved, they played true to their DNA. You give her a one-on-one with Zoe Harrison there, backs that pace, takes you outside, and what a finish. Brilliant bit of skill from Vanique Bonner. Great little finish from her here. It's a good ball by Merrill Smith as well. Just gives her the opportunity, gives her 5 metres of Zoe Harrison. Great work.
What time was try scored at?
That is 7 tries in her last 5 matches. She is a special talent.
30 seconds, Amber.
As Amber Reid takes her sweet time with the conversion, as is her right. This to make it a 10-point buffer as we head into the final few minutes of what has been a roller coaster of a semi-final. A few inches wide, 21 plays, 29, and this restart has got to go the way of Saracens if they're to wrestle themselves back into this.
Yeah, 3 minutes and they've got to score twice, haven't they? So the next action has to be a Sarri score.
Well, the kicks on a dime, and Sophie de Goody just drawing the penalty from Bristol.
Sarri's come in. Rose out for it.
Well, what a first throw for Bryony Fields. It just couldn't be clung onto, but then nor could that by Marston Mulhern.
Knock on, scrum, Bristol ball.
A pair of knock-ons and some afters as well between Packer and Marston Mulhern.
Nothing serious, 2 to go. Time's off. 9.
So Bristol still packing down with the same front row that they have had all match long. They are going the distance. Byrne, Pam and Bosserman Saracens with entirely fresh legs and shoulders. Lucy Burgess is on wearing 21, so Kira Bevan has left us.
Time's on.
90 seconds between Bristolian history and perhaps between a return to Saracens supremacy.
Bind! Set!
Pragmatism, surely the order of the day here for Bristol, but again, when under the cosh, that tireless front row have got the job done, and just look at the pictures.
You can see the emotion, can't you? You can pretty much feel it from up here as well. What this means to this Bristol group. A minute left on the clock now, and it's going to be very unlikely that Sarries are going to be able to score twice.
Yeah, the first yellow card is 17-30.
Oh, so they're not.
Depends what happens, but...
They might just have done it, Katie, and we might be about to jinx things horribly, but I would love to ask you, after so many eye-catching performances over a breathless 79 minutes, who is your Premiership Women's Rugby Player of the Match?
Yeah, like you say, we've had some real standout performances. I think Evie Gallagher went really well, but it's your lady on the screen, Marston Mulhern. She's been ferocious, you know. She's everything that Bristol want to be. She's big, she carries well. She's given them so much front football today, and she is your PWR Player of the Match.
When you get here, it will be.
Well, she started playing football in college, but was told she was too aggressive for football, so she picked up a rugby one instead and has never looked back.
Yeah, I mean, she's the heartbeat of Bristol. So you saw the emotion there and how much this means to her. She's been with this side a long time, and, you know, she plays with her heart on the sleeve, and thought she's been very, very good for them today.
Let's go, please.
Well, it's been exhausting on the field. It's been an exhausting day to be Dave Ward in the coaching box as well. Up and down, rattling around in there. But he knows that if they can just see out the next 30 seconds, they'll have done something very special indeed. Atkin Davies throws and then hustles. Bristol's pack.
Ball's on your side. Go on the right, please.
They have just been relentless today. Look to march their way upfield. Just wind down the clock. 5 seconds remain.
Successful.
The gong sounds, which means that will be that. There are hugs in the Bristol coaching box to the side of us, but we will play on.
Yeah, we will. And I think, obviously, just on that player of the match, we can't not touch on Lark Atkin Davies. You know, a hat-trick in a semi-final is nothing short of very impressive. But, you know, that all-round performance from the pack has been very good. But, yeah, you look at the coaching of box across from us now, and one happy, very set of Bears, isn't it?
Well, McKenna will be tasked with feeding this scrum because Infante's still in the bin. They've played this last 10 minutes with 13 women Saracens. Marston Mulhern kicks it out. Of course she does. She's done everything else today as Bristol Bears make history and are Premiership finalists for the very first time. It is the biggest result in their existence, and they've done it the hard way, snapping the curse of away semi-finals at the most foreboding fortress of the lot. An extraordinary result. Dave Ward promised us a title in his 3rd year in charge. Well, they're a win away from sinking their claws into the Premiership trophy. as for just the second time, we will have a final without the three-time champions. The StoneX is stunned. Saracens are out, and Bears have done it by 29 points to 21.